We just got to keep doing what we're doing and build momentum from here, because the way we win is people power and speaking out and not being nice to people anymore, just being bold, being blunt and defending our Christian heritage, our values and our country.
Most importantly, showing up, I guess.
Showing up, yes.
Białystok. Szczecin. Warsaw. Protests against illegal migration took place in almost 100 Polish cities. Stop migrants, stop Muslims. We are also against this, especially us as women. I, as a woman, am against this because I fear for my daughter, for my granddaughter. The organizers of the protests emphasized that Western Europe, which for years pursued an open-door policy for migrants from Africa and the Middle East, has learned its lesson the hard way. And we, having learned from this experience, cannot repeat these harmful actions. We know that terrible crimes are being committed in many places in Western Europe. Stabbings, robberies, rapes. We in Poland want to live safely.
We love Ireland and we're here. We're breaking the censorship. The whole thing is over. All of their censorship, all of that blocking us from loving this country, that's finished.
Even mass arrests and police clampdowns can't stop Irish patriots from holding massive protests across the country.
We have a voice, to not be scared, to stand up to those labelling us. We are one, we will fight this, we will win.
The police are causing a lot of problems. People can't get in. They're stopped at entrances, at street accesses, and so on. But we are here because the problem in Spain will not be solved by going out of your house one day to shout a few words. This is a daily problem. Since the last time we came until today, a girl was killed by being burnt alive. 2 girls were raped in a lift, and a brutal beating was given to an elder. So, it's the daily bread in our country. And honestly, I don't believe a decent Spanish person has anything else to do than this. The protest began because an illegal immigrant, one of those taken in, I believe, 2 years ago at the reception center in Alcalá de Henares. And since then, by the way, crime in Alcalá has reportedly increased by 500%, which is no small figure. Raped a young woman, a 21-year-old girl. Nor does the state respond to Spain's problems. The state, in fact, provokes them more. And under the allowance of our institutions, this terrible and criminal situation occurs. And on the other hand, instead of protesting, the people, with the absolute and natural right to revolution and violence against the state, given the situation I'm referring to, prefer to demonstrate against the few people who do something. We always talk about the far right, the ultras, and all these things. Honestly, I put myself in the position of being someone who doesn't know these movements. I'm going to see it from the outside, and I think, in Valencia, there were the ultras. It was warned that with the storm, the far right were camping freely across Valencia. In Torre Pacheco, the ultras defended the honor of an elderly man whose head was bashed in. In Alcalá, because of the rape of a 21-year-old girl, the ultras return.
In Spain, a man with a baby was callously threatened by a knife-wielding gang for simply walking down the street.
When another white boy or a white girl dies at the hand of an immigrant, We might shake our head, we might let out a sigh, we might even get angry for a minute or two, and then we go on with our lives. We offer the family thoughts and prayers, but nothing ever changes. Ladies and gentlemen, what does that say about us? This is the response of a society that has already given up, a society that has already accepted its defeat. But is this true? Have we given up? Do we really accept the new reality that our globalist leaders have in mind for us? I know one thing for sure, and that is that if nothing changes, if we don't start to seriously fight for our continent, for our religion, for our people, our countries, then this time that we live in will go down in history as the time in which Western nations no longer had to get invaded by hostile armies in order to be conquered. This time will then go down in history as the period in which the invader was actively invited in by a corrupt elite. And not only did this corrupt elite invite the enemy in, they made the native population pay for it too. Everyone who has eyes can see it. The native, white, Christian European population is being replaced at an ever-accelerating rate. Let me back this up for you with some statistics from my home country. Let's take Amsterdam, the capital. Amsterdam currently consists of 56% migrants. The Hague, 58% migrants. Rotterdam, almost 60% migrants. And of course, most of these immigrants come from non-Christian, non-Western, African and Middle Eastern countries. Conclusion, the Dutch population is already outnumbered in the majority of our cities. But let's look onwards. London, 54% migrants. Again, conclusion, native population outnumbered. Brussels, color me shocked, 70% migrants. Conclusion, native population majorly outnumbered. And other Europeans will, of course, follow suit soon if they haven't already.
So sad.
So I'm going to draw the forbidden conclusion here. The Great Replacement theory is no longer a theory. It's reality. And what's interesting about replacement is that the establishment will either deny its existence, or when they admit to it, they say that it's a good thing that the native European population is soon no longer a majority on its own continent.
And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. On the issue of what's going on in the West and what's going on, for example, in the UK, everything obviously goes back to the war on our values, the war on our culture, and the identity of the Western Europeans, obviously, who need to be protected. And this is the result of decades and decades of neglect, but also betrayal from the political left, the liberal progressives, and all those in establishment who ruined this. And society started going the wrong way for decades and decades. In the name of liberal secularism, we lost our values. And of course, other ideologies will want to fill it. For example, Islam. If you stop going to church, that church is going to turn into a mosque.
Vile predators who prey, they rape, they traffic and destroy lives, whilst the elites overlook it. They look the other way. They provide no protection for English girls, because English girls don't matter to the elite scum in this country. They matter to us though, they matter to us. In Waltham, Rochdale, Telford, thousands of English girls have been violated, their innocence stolen, their futures shattered by these organised gangs. And what do our so-called leaders do? They cover it up, they silence the truth for their multicultural fantasy. I don't want a multicultural fantasy. It doesn't work, the experiment failed. I want an English for the English, an England for the English. But we say no more. Our daughters deserve safety and our daughters deserve justice, finally. And it doesn't stop there. Islamic terrorism ravages our cities. Manchester, London, Westminster Bridge. Our cities were red with the blood of the English. Bombs tear through our concerts, knives slash through our markets, and our people live in fear. Who can forget the 22 young people that died at the Ariana Grande concert? Who can forget that they were children? They came to our country and slaughtered our kids. There should be no surrender to them. We should fight back every single time and tell them they do not belong in these lands. They belong to me and to you. Our cities, once beacons of British pride, are now battlegrounds, and we're told to accept it as diversity. We will not accept it. We will not let terror define our children's futures. Not in a million years. Our young Englishmen and women, the heartbeat of our nation, are being cut down by foreigners who have no place in these lands to begin with. From Lee Rigby, hacked to death in broad daylight by jihadists, to the countless stabbings on London streets, our youth are dying at the hands of those that despise us. We will deport them all.
Fighting back! 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 Fighting
They are saying Crete is completely overwhelmed, Martin, 4,000 in the last week. What the new minister is saying is he's going to detain them all and deport them all, which is actually what I've been saying we need to do. We need to detain everybody and deport everybody to stop this. So that's what he's saying he's going to do.